We'll call the regular meeting of the Board of Board of Selectmen to order. Today is February 17th. We have just concluded our special meeting, and we're moving into regular meeting. Additional agenda or consent items, I don't believe there are any. We'll ask for any delegations. Would anyone like to speak to the Board of Selectmen this evening? I'll ask one more time. Anybody? If so, you would unmute yourself and speak right up. If not, okay. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 3rd, 2021.
This is Kevin Suri. I move to approve the regular meeting minutes of February 3, 2021 as submitted.
Paul Daigle, second.
Motion is seconded. Any comments or corrections? Good job with the minutes, Sandy. We don't tell you that enough. You do an outstanding job with the minutes. These minutes can get a little detailed sometimes, and you keep us in check. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And are there any opposed? If not, I see it as a 6-0 vote. Thank you. There is a consent calendar this evening.
This is Kevin Suri. I'll move to approve the consent calendar for the meeting of February 17th, 2021, in the amount of $946.22.
Second, Mark Salerno.
Motion and second. When we get back into the big room, do you think you're going to say, "This is Kevin Siri, I'd like to make a motion"?
No, I won't.
All right. Just wondering. Any other comments or questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain?
Actually, I don't. I'm only saying that because that's what we've been told we have to do. So.
You're doing it correctly. I'm just wondering if we're going to do Zoom so much
Geez.
for so long that we're going to be used to this.
Right.
Anyway, terrific. We got that done. Special appropriation. We'll go on to new business. And we'll be moving quite quickly through this agenda, as it turns out, because there's some issues with some of the other issues. But the 2A, special appropriation of the NSEF EOC furniture for $20,334. Chief is still here. My guess is, Chief, you're here to speak on this.
Yes. So as we started the building project, it was understood that we were going to take every opportunity to find alternative funding for the EOC. So to outfit the EOC in the new building, we, in our application for nuclear safety fund money, received that money. And what we're looking tonight is for the approval to expend that. That's going to be really what outfits that emergency operations center, not just the EOC itself, but the communications room, which is adjacent. And it's going to be a multi-year project. So we have in our application for next year some additional funding to, again, continue to outfit that room and not have it be from the town of East Lyme taxpayers.
Great. Well, are there any questions?
This is Kevin. Oh.
Well, I was just going to say, this is making great use of, state funding and federal funding, the funding we get. These grants don't come easy, so it took a lot of work from you and Julie Wilson, I know, to reach out and get some of this money on behalf of the taxpayers of East Lyme, and we thank you for it. Thank you very much. Kevin.
Okay. This is Kevin Suri. I will move to approve a special appropriation in the amount of $20,334 from NSEP Nuclear Safety Equipment Program Award 2021-67 to account 01-70-725-224-006 NSEP-equipment for purchasing various communications and office equipment for the new EOC Emergency Operations Center and forward to the Board of Finance for approval.
Mark Salerno, second.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Kevin. Are there any other comments? Outstanding. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, thank you. Um, The next on our agenda is a discussion possible action. The action I'm going to ask not happen this evening. I did have a discussion with our town attorney, Dave, I saw Tom Beebe. I saw Todd Donovan here, all for the Parks and Rec Commission, and they sent over some communication, I believe, is in your packet, wanting to take over the 300 acres up at Darrow Pond, and our town attorney said, "Time out. We have some deed restrictions on that land, and we do have a." What is the term? The Friends of Oswegatchie Hills are the
Conservation easement.
conservation easement to benefit the Friends of Oswegatchie Hills, and they are the conservators, or would it be for the open space? So he said you probably can't give the 200, you can give the 100 that remains town property and developable and shapeable and all that, and so that we would need to clearly identify that. So town attorney has asked us to step back and before we start considering just having Parks and Rec control that, that we kind of look over the deed restrictions that were placed on the land as we purchased this under the Formica administration about 10 years ago or so. I let the fellows in Parks and Rec know about that earlier this evening, but they're still here, and I would give them the ability to speak at our meeting if they want to talk about this. No reason why we can't do that. We don't want to take action tonight. So Tom, you're the new chair. Tom Beebe, new chair. Congratulations, I guess. Mr. Donovan, I think you're heading up the subcommittee. Congratulations, I guess. But both of you, thank you for serving the town. And this is you got some great long-term plans for some of this property, and the town, when it bought the land, had some long-term ideas as well, and we were looking for people to step up and decide its path. So thank you for taking that under your responsibility. So would you like to talk about what you're thinking about up there, or what might be?
Sure. So Mark, I'll jump in here. I think just that piece of property has a lot of unique opportunities for passive recreation. And I think that's the direction that the Park and Rec Commission is looking to go. It's in our plan of conservation and development to look to develop this property. And I think it's the focus, and Todd has done a good job in our initial informational meeting, looking at different passive recreation activities. And I don't want to speak for the commission, but Tom can jump in, or Todd certainly, that I think they believe for passively, no active fields or anything like this, athletic fields at this time. But really take a look at what the possibilities are for passive recreation. As far as that 200 and 100 acres, the 200, I know the commission knows it is under conservation easement, and really nothing that could really happen on there except for like trail improvements and some of those other types of things. So I'm pretty sure the commission's aware of that, and just wanted to start. I think the commission wanted to move forward and start that discussion of turning the management over that property to Park and Rec, whether it's the 100 acres or the entire 300. I think is like you said, to the town attorney and what the deed reads.
Dave, do you have any other open space, deeded, restricted open space under your umbrella right now?
No. The other property, the other big property is like the Barbaro property off of Boston Post Road, and that's just stayed as open space, but is not under our responsibilities.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it'd be certainly a whole new thing to open up, that you'd be now maintaining trails, hiking, trail maps, all the things that you'd probably have to do if you really took it over. I don't know where the Friends of Oswegatchie Hills, I think, took that as because they were asked to do it. But we'll have a discussion with them as well and see if they'd be willing to give it up and just give it over to you folks. And we'll do some homework before we get to a vote on that. Send you guys on your way. So give us give us a couple meetings to get that done. Todd, anything to add?
I'll refer to Todd, who's heading up the commission or the committee on the commission.
Yeah, I'll do it really quick, just because we're not sure which way this will go. So we did have our first Zoom meeting last Wednesday. What we thought would be a great idea was to try to get as many residents who have an interest in this, whether they're just outdoorsmen or they have young children that they'll someday bring to this. We told them to give as many ideas as they could, but keep your expectations fairly low. This will take some time. Obviously, there's some of these particulars we have to work through, but ultimately we ended up with a good group. I mean, by the end of the about an hour call, I felt the least educated person on the call in regards to this topic. And when that happens, it's a good room or a good table. So we were thrilled. Dave was there, Mike was there. We had about 5 families, husbands, wives. We just threw a lot of ideas around. We got a really good buzz about it. We got some inquiries from people that weren't on, that would like to be on moving forward. And we created a survey that we haven't sent out to the public yet, just to, maybe someday let them know what we have the potential to do. And we'll ask for the public's opinion on that. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Todd. Tom, I've never seen you with less words. I mean, you're a man of many words, never a loss of words. So I don't know, I'm putting you on the spot tonight, I guess.
They say every successful person is surrounded by smart people, right? So I have Dave and Todd and doing a great job and going after what we can do up in that property. So I'm looking forward to expanding the Parks and Rec Commission, field of view, I guess, north of 95 to be able to expand in that area. So
yeah, don't let my legal hiccup dissuade you from progress. Just keep on doing what you're doing, Todd. Make sure you're getting the neighbors that would be affected by this also on board. We talked about this offline already in a phone conversation. Make sure we have Darrow's Ridge people. Maybe I think Village Drive kind of backs up to some of that 100 acres as well. So we may want to talk to Village Drive. Maybe even, is it Nottingham Hills, way in the back that would come back in that way. So just a thought. So, but good luck, keep it going. And the more people you put on, the more great ideas you'll have and momentum. So continued success, folks. Give me a little chance to get through the legal side of things. Well, I don't want to stifle any comments. Is there any comments from the Board of Selectmen this evening?
I look forward to hearing more.
Okay, yeah, I think, and we can kind of go over that in the future. That's great. Okay, that said, thank you for your being patient on that. Appointment to board and commissions. We're not quite ready for the police commission appointments yet. So if you would please, we'll pass that for yet another meeting. Thank you. Commission. There is a communications on the Commission on Aging, their annual report. I suggested instead of her coming to the meeting to just give us her annual report in writing. It was obviously a very quiet, bleak year for the Commission on Aging. They're looking forward to, I like using the word progress a lot tonight, but for progress and for reopening of the senior center. Ex officio reports.
The only one I had would have been from Parks and Rec, but we just heard from that, so I'm all done for that. It's been a long meeting, so nothing else.
Nothing from me tonight.
Mr. Salerno?
Planning met, they're trying to put together an affordable housing subcommittee. As I think the state's, we need to adopt our plan within 2 years, even though we have one in zoning now. They appointed Larry Fitzgerald as a new member, and that's all they have right now.
Could you repeat who the new member was? I was kind of muffled.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Thank you.
He used to be on the commission before.
Yeah.
That's great news. Let's see, Roseanne, any report tonight?
Of course. So tomorrow night, zoning commission meets, and they will begin with a public hearing. Attorney Harris is a representative for the applicant, the legal representative, and the proposal is for a, let me describe first of all where the property is. It would be across, it would be just down the, it's on Boston Post Road, just next to East Lyme Pizza. And that was previously the rectory for the Catholic Church across the street. And then most recently, it's had several iterations. I think most recently it was a hair salon and nail place. So the plan would be to retain the building, but to kind of, it'll be, the current building will be raised and there'll be a new building on the lot with commercial, it'll be mixed use, commercial on the first floor and 5 one-bedroom apartments on the second floor. So that will be the topic. I think that is the only public hearing tomorrow evening. And then, of course, following the public hearing, there will be, the board will enter into some discussion. So that's it. If anybody has any questions.
No. Who are we missing? Dan? Okay. Are there any other ex officio reports?
Yes, you missed me.
Yeah, Paul. Sorry.
That's quite all right. Harbor Management had their meeting last night. Several items on there. They're trying to come through the renewal or reissuance of the shellfish lease for the bay with Mr. Lonergan. The lease that they've used in the past, they're trying to find a copy of what was signed. It was a 5-year lease. Question with our fishing docks, the leases were approved by us. They believe it's under their jurisdiction to approve any lease going forward, but they feel they may also have to update the terminology in in the lease. And if so, would we, the Board of Selectmen, or town attorney, be required to look at that lease before they enter into it?
Are you talking about the leases for the town fishing dock?
No, I was talking about the leases for shellfishing in the bay. I referenced the town fishing docks because I know those leases were reviewed by the town attorney before we signed them.
I think you'll find the town attorney doesn't give them the obligation to fill out leases, but we can let them have that discussion with the town attorney.
Okay.
I think I think very specifically it's the Board of Selectmen. That's where we, the Wells Co. got into that whole thing a couple of years ago with the lease to the scallop farmer, and eventually that thing died because it was determined that Wells Co. does not have the authority to enter into any leases.
No, this is the bay. This is East Lyme.
Oh, bay.
This is not in the river. So,
Roseanne, you were around for the lease on the last bay. We have someone out there. My thought still is the Board of Selectmen has the authority to enter into leases. I think it still comes before us. We could check with town attorney on that.
yeah, no, I'll read through
My recollection is that the board did discuss it, I think we discussed it, and then I believe it was referred to town attorney for further clarification.
Okay, so I'll get that word back to them. The next item was they're still standing by for the outcome of your discussions with the town of Waterford on the boundary in the river.
Right.
They are going to pursue some habitat restoration opportunities, most likely down in the Patagonia estuary area. They think there's some good opportunities down there, depending on funding streams that are available. The shellfish management plan, which does have the lease in there for the town-controlled shellfish, is about 15 years old. So they're going to look at updating that. They've gotten some guidance from the from the state that similar to the harbor management plan, it would have to come to the Board of Selectmen for review and concurrence, and then go to the state for approval. So that will probably be more than a 1-year process. I guess I'll wait. They had a budgetary question that I can wait and address with you separately, Mark, or when we get to their budget review regarding the fees for the pump out boat
Right.
in the river. So
Okay.
we'll have to cover that tonight.
So we removed it from harbor management because we put it into Wellsco.
Okay, because they thought the agreement was that Wellsco would pay a third, we'd pay a third, and East and Waterford would pay a third. That's about $3,000 a piece for the $9,000 bill.
Right. So the $9,000 bill, we're giving Wellsco $3,000.
Okay.
That's our obligation. Wellsco, out of their own funds, don't forget they have a revenue source.
Right.
Should also pay $3,000, and Waterford should pay $3,000.
Okay. All right. So it's going directly to Wellsco from the town.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I had to report tonight.
You got it.
No updates on the public safety building. Their monthly meeting is tomorrow night, so we should have more at our next meeting, except they continue to make good progress.
Make great progress. Thank you, Paul and Mark, for that. My report this evening, I'll make it brief because I know there's a few people that want to speak to us tonight. The senior center received their new bus today. We still have to get all the paperwork in order in the next couple of days, the DMV stuff and all that. But the senior center bus that we approved a whole long time ago has arrived to the town. And when the senior center is up and cooking again, our seniors will be well served. And I found out yesterday that the Starlight Motel and the mobile station has been purchased by the state under eminent domain. We knew this was coming with that exit 74 highway bridge on-ramp, off-ramp renovation, rework. So as much as a lot of the Connecticut DOT projects, a lot of them are up in the air, it would seem that this is still progressing along the path of moving forward. I'm not sure where some of that funding is going to come from. The state, that's their problem. But there you go. So just so you know, the Starlight Motel will be open for another month under the current management, and I think then they will be shutting it down. But there are some permanent residents there, and they will be displaced. So my concern is that sometimes that comes under a town obligation. So we'll be looking for the state for some assistance on that. So there you go. That's what I have this evening. If no other reports from us, we can move to the final public comment section. There are some people that I know want to speak to us this evening. I was told of that. We allow public comment. We limit public comment to 5 minutes per person. You have to give your name and your local residence, address, and who would like to go first?
I'd like to speak tonight, please.
Okay.
I'm Annalise Lapidez, and my address is 39 Romagna Road, Niantic. So I am the Director of Community Engagement for the Southeastern Connecticut Organization for Racial Equity, also known as SCORE. I'm also a medical student at the University of Vermont. And one of the most important concepts that I have learned in my education so far is not related to biology or how the body works, but about the social determinants of health. And so what these are external and environmental factors that affect a wide range of health, functioning, and quality of life outcomes and risks. These include, but are not limited to, education, socioeconomic status, food security, housing, and healthcare. And something that branches through each of these factors is racism. Racism, which ranges from microaggressions and unconscious bias to outward prejudice and discrimination, results in adverse health outcomes among people of color. And racism is deeply rooted in the structures of our country and in our state, which impacts the policies that affect the well-being of people of color. According to the United Health Foundation, while Connecticut is in the top 5 healthiest states in the country, we also rank 42nd in health disparities, demonstrating just how wide the gap is between the highest highs and the lowest lows in terms of health. And so even in our healthy state, we are not immune from health inequity. And this already existing problem has been brought to light during the COVID-19 pandemic. Black individuals make up about 1/4 of COVID-19 deaths, but only about 13% of the actual US population. And this pandemic has taught me a lot, but one of the things highest on that list is that the consequences of not caring about each other are fatal. And not only does this apply to COVID, it also applies to racism. It is a public health crisis. And so my organization, SCORE, is urging the East Lyme Board of Selectmen to declare racism a public health crisis so that we may take action to support our region, in which this issue has been made a priority by the Ledge Light Health District, which we fall under, and they have also vocalized their support of our initiative. We asked to be an agenda item at the next Board of Selectmen meeting in order to discuss our proposed resolution with you so that we may work together to enact this declaration. We have prepared a full package which includes the specific resolution points, statistics supporting the resolution, including the criteria of how racism meets the 3 criteria of a public health crisis, and letters of support from residents, including the Ledge Light Health District, as well as a petition of over 600 signatures, which we will send to you following this meeting. Moving forward with this process will contribute to the prosperity of our town if we send this message along with the 20 other municipalities in the state of Connecticut who have already done so, and use it to reinforce equity in our town and region. And as Angela Davis said, it is not enough to be non-racist, we must be anti-racist, and we believe that this resolution can do that. So thank you for letting me speak to you all tonight.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to the Board of Selectmen this evening? Thank you. All right. We are moving into an executive session, I believe. Is that, trying to find the agenda.
Yes, it
Executive
is.
Session for the purposes of discussing personnel matters. So we will ask all those who are not on the Board of Selectmen to exit the meeting. We'll be moving into an executive session.
And we will not be coming out afterwards except to adjourn the meeting. There'll be no public comment after this.
The agenda does point to a discussion and possible action of the UPSU labor agreement, but you're right, Mrs. Hardy, we will not be taking action this evening on it. I'd rather put that in front of you first. So we will leave and adjourn. Thank you.
Okay, then this is Kevin Siri. Are we going to include anybody in the meeting, Mark?
No.
Okay, this is Kevin Siri. I'll move to enter into executive session at 7:30 p.m. for the purpose of discussing personnel matters.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay.